Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We got NFL Super Wildcard Weekend. If you're new here, this is a show where I give you my best bets, player props, picks against the spread, and those totals. NFL playoffs! Now, first game on the Super Wildcard Weekend slate will be Saturday, 4:30. We have the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. This line opened up, Bengals laying 6.5 points at home, has since come down, money coming in on Vegas. This line's now sitting at 5, 4.5 in Cincinnati's favor, depending on which book you're using. Now, how do we cap this game? This is very interesting. These two teams already played this year. This is going to be a theme throughout the show. 5 out of the 6 matchups this week, these teams have already played at least once this year, if not twice. Now, that first game was November 21st, with the Bengals defeating the Raiders in Vegas. Joe Mixon had a great day that day. Toted the ball over 20 times, 132 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. The Bengals won that game 32-13. Joe Burrow, average day, 132 through the air, didn't have to do a lot. They relied on the ground game. Now, capping this game, we know that the Cincinnati Bengals took off basically the majority of their starters in Week 18 to rest for that game. And so now they've had basically a bye week, a mini bye, if you will, and now they had that entire time to game plan, and now this week they know who their opponent is, so they're in a great spot here. Meanwhile, the Vegas Raiders just had to go tooth and nail, another overtime game. I believe that's now 3 overtime games for them on the season against the Chargers in that glorious Sunday night football game. What a great game that was. But now, Vegas, after playing that Sunday slobber knocker, they're going to have Monday walkthroughs, Tuesday walkthroughs, get on the practice field Thursday, Friday, implement some sort of game plan, travel on Saturday, game on Sunday. A lot of things are stacked against the Raiders, but hey, they've had the chips against them all season, and they continue to produce. An interesting note here on this game, Darren Waller coming back from that injury last week, he only got 2 catches, 19 yards, but he was targeted 9 times in that game, just didn't pull in the ball. Ball placement wasn't there. In the first game, Darren Waller had over 7 receptions, 118 yards. If you're looking at player props are starting to drop now in some books, guys. You want to get these early before the value just gets steamed out of the way here. We're going to be looking at Darren Waller props here. He's one of Derek Carr's favorite targets. We even saw it last week with those 9 receptions in his first game back from that injury. As Cincinnati side, I think that Cincinnati, I know a lot of people are on Vegas this week. I mean, listen, guys, the ticket share is 58% on Cincinnati, but 78% of the cash is on the Raiders. Big money coming in on the Raiders, and the line's dropping because of it, and I understand all that. It just seems like a lot here. I mean, the Las Vegas Raiders have been fighting for their playoff. This is Vegas' 3rd playoff game here. They had to win against the Colts to stay alive, and they had to beat the Chargers to get in last week. This is going to be their 3rd playoff game. How much energy do they have left? How much do they have left in the tank? Can they go into Cincinnati and cover this spread and not lose by more than 5 points, or in fact win the game? I believe they can. I thought the total was very interesting in this game. Opened up at 49.5 points. I thought this could be an easy over here. If we get a 27-24 game, we get over there and we cash that ticket. I still believe that's a possibility. But just, diving into it and looking at the points that these teams have put up, both of these teams, aside from 2 shootouts with the Chargers and the Chiefs with Cincinnati, they haven't really gone over this total. So that's something interesting to look at when you're capping this game and seeing if you want to bet on that. Best bet for me in this game, I'm going to go roll with the Darren Waller props. I'm going to go Darren Waller over yardage. I believe Derek Carr is going to be looking his way. We have seen Zay Jones emerge in the offense as of the last 2 weeks. Not sure what's going on with Hunter Renfrow. If he's getting double teamed out there, couldn't really make it out in the Chargers game. He just wasn't as active in the offense as we have grown to seen and cash props on him before. Player prop on this game will be Darren Waller. As far as a spread pick, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lay the 5 points with Cincinnati here. I was looking at a first half spot, but these playoff games are going to be extremely, extremely tight here. This is playoff football, January. It's going to be very cold in Cincinnati. Vegas coming up. We already talked about how much gas do they have left in the tank. How much energy do they have for this game? It's going to be freezing. 3rd playoff game in a row. Short rest. Playing Sunday night. First game of the playoffs, Saturday morning. Cincinnati coming off the bye. Just seems like Zach Taylor's going to have a good game plan here to go out and duplicate what they did last time. They beat the Raiders by 19 points in Las Vegas. They only have to cover 5 here. With the thoroughbreds Joe Burrow has on the outside, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon toting the ball, I'm not sure if Vegas is going to be able to go punch for punch with this team down the field and scoring the points. Pick for the spread, I will take Cincinnati, lay the 5. Player prop will be Darren Waller over. And if I had to pick on the spread of this game, I would go over the 49.5 points. Let's move on to the next game. Next game up on Super Wildcard Weekend is a divisional matchup. The New England Patriots travel to Orchard Park to play the Buffalo Bills. Now, spread on this game is Buffalo laying 4.5 points at home with a over-under of 44.5. This will be the third matchup between these teams this year, splitting 1-1. Now, that first game, and something you're going to want to keep in mind here, this is upstate New York in January. It's going to be below freezing temperatures out there, but that's not what we're worried about in capping this game. It will be the wind factor. If you remember that first game in Buffalo, there was 40-mile-an-hour winds. It was very tough to throw the ball. Terrible game conditions. I believe Mac Jones had 3 passing attempts that entire game. And New England just ran the ball down their throat, won the game, short margin. It was a New England win. Now, they just played in New England 3 weeks ago, completely different story. The Buffalo Bills won by double digits. Josh Allen had one of his best games as a pro, over 300 yards in the air, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, over 60 yards on the ground. And he did that without Cole Beasley and Gabriel Davis, who were both on the COVID reserve for that week. Now, Josh Allen will have his full arsenal in this game. In New England, they're kind of limping into the playoffs here. I mean, New England has lost 3 of their last 4 games. Their only win over the last month came against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Meanwhile, the Buffalo Bills have won 4 straight games, almost 5 straight, losing 6 points to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buffalo's really catching their stride here. I believe they're going to cover this number. I really want to see that New England money come in. Right now, the cash and ticket share is all on Buffalo. If we can get Buffalo -4 here, it'll be an absolute lock for me. That will be my play. As of the 4.5, if it has to get there for a pick for the show, I will lay the points with Buffalo. Player props we're going to look for in this game. It will be Josh Allen over. Hopefully they drop somewhere around the high 30s, 39. You're probably going to see this player prop in the 40s. We're going to take the over on that. This is a playoff game. I believe Josh Allen is one of the toughest people on his team or the entire football field. This guy goes out there, plays, and just what an athlete, great competitor. We're going to take Josh Allen over rushing yards, and then we're going to be looking at Damian Harris over rushing yards. He went over his total in both of the games that they played this year, and he scored multiple touchdowns. He had 3 in their last matchup 3 weeks ago. Buffalo does have a great defense, but New England with that running game, I feel like this could be a closer game, but I'm going to lay the points. Buffalo minus the 4.5. Hopefully we get to the 4. Player prop will be Josh Allen. And for a total, if you do have DraftKings Sportsbook available to you, they're giving away free money here. Now it is, I believe, a $25 or $50 max play. It's similar to the Spread the Love event that Fanduel did. The more people that bet the over in this game, the points drop. Currently, the total for this game is 44.5. If you go into the promotion section of DraftKings, it's currently at 33.5. By the time kickoff comes, this is probably going to be, an over of 7-8 points. That'll be free money. I'm going to take that as my total play. Player props we went over and spread we went over. Let's get on to the Sunday slate for Super Wildcard Weekend. Next game up and first game on the Sunday clock slate will be 4:30. The Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Raymond James Stadium to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, these teams already played in Week 6 when Tampa Bay went to Philadelphia. Tampa won 28-3. Tampa Bay was up 28-14 at halftime. Philadelphia came back in that fourth quarter and covered a backdoor spread on that game. That's very interesting because the spread on this game is Philadelphia getting 8.5 on the road. The total in this matchup opened up 49.5 and has been hit down. People hammering the under on this game is now down to 47.5. A couple interesting things here. As far as a player prop and my best bet of this game and probably my best bet of the entire weekend will be Rob Gronkowski props. Philadelphia ranks in the bottom of the NFL at guarding the tight end this year. And a couple extra things that help us here. In that Week 6 game, now I know it's only one game and every game's different, but just something to go forward with here with the Buccaneers. Chris Godwin is out of this game. Antonio Brown is out of this game. In that Week 6 game, those two players accounted for 14 receptions. Where are those passes going to go? In that Week 6 game, Rob Gronkowski was hurt. He did not play. Backup tight end Cameron Brate and O.J. Howard accounted for 9 receptions. Now with Gronkowski on the field and 23 extra receptions to go around, in theory, you got to be smashing Gronk props here. It's going to be Darius Slay guarding Mike Evans on the outside. It's going to open up for Gronkowski. Gronkowski is going to eat in this game. We will be looking at Gronkowski over receptions, and my first betting alert will be Rob Gronkowski anytime touchdown. Go ahead, get that now on Fanduel Sportsbook. It's plus 115. Anywhere else, it's in minus numbers. That number will not stay there. These props are just opening now. Come kickoff, that will be a minus number. Grab the plus 115. Rob Gronkowski anytime touchdown now while you can. Betting alert, that's all available at Fanduel right now. Everywhere else, it's minus money. Now, as far as this game goes and spread and capping this game, Philadelphia's front four can get pressure on Tom Brady. And if they do, it's going to be trouble. Now, big narrative on this game is that, Philadelphia likes to run the ball, and if they can't run the ball, Jalen Hurts is going to have to throw this thing to win, and Tampa Bay stops the run. Tampa Bay did have an extremely good rush defense in the first half of the year. For some reason, that rush defense has fallen off in the last 5 weeks. In the last 5 games, Tampa Bay has given up 150 yards on the ground to the Jets, 110 to the Panthers, and 173 to the Bills. Now, Josh Allen had 100 of those yards, but it does correlate because Jalen Hurts rushes on the ground also. Jalen Hurts had 44 yards and 2 touchdowns in that first contest. I think Tampa Bay is the rightful favorite here. I mean, they have to be. If the NFL did not insert an extra wild card spot this year, Philadelphia would not be in the playoffs, and now they're drawing the reigning defending Super Bowl champions. To make things worse, Tampa Bay is getting back Levante David, Leonard Fournette, and Giovanni Bernard, all cleared to return to the practice field this week. This Tampa Bay roster is getting stronger now. Getting guys back they didn't have the last 3 weeks, getting ready to make a strong playoff push. Do I want to lay the 8.5 with Tampa? Absolutely not. I already gave you my best bet, and that's going to be the Gronkowski props. If I have to take a side in this game, it would be Buccaneers, but I'm not going to lay the 8.5 with the fear of the backdoor cover. Reluctantly, I would have to go Tampa Bay minus 5.5 first half. We've seen how hot Tampa comes out when they're playing at home. The spreads they cover at home are drastically better than their ATS record on the road. Pick against the spread would be Tampa Bay first half. As far as a total on this game, I thought it was a little high at 49. Now that it's getting bet down to 47, I'm not going to have anything particular to play. If I did have to make a pick and a pick for the show, because I'm giving you a prop, a side, and a total on every game this week, I would go over the 47. This just might be getting a little too low right now. If we can get to a 47, that would be great, but that would be the pick. Let's get on to the next game, Sunday night. Next up, the Sunday night game will be the San Francisco 49ers traveling to Jerry World to play the Cowboys. This is the highest total of the week at 50.5 points, with the 49ers getting 3 points on the road. The Dallas Cowboys have the highest scoring team in the National Football League, including 9 defensive touchdowns. Travion Diggs making plays, Micah Parsons, Rookie of the Year, while they have a great defensive front in Randy Gregory and DeMarcus Lawrence getting to the passer. Jimmy G will have to get rid of the ball quick in this game if the 49ers want to have some success. The 49ers also rank top in the National Football League in points per yards and points per play. These are 2 big offenses going at each other. Couple interesting notes here, and my first look on this game will be on the player prop. I'm going to be looking at Ezekiel Elliott under rushing yards. The San Francisco 49ers have not allowed 100 yards on the ground to a single rusher since November 7th when they played the Cardinals. A couple interesting backs that they have shut down recently in the last 8 weeks held Sony Michel to 43 yards, Rex Burkhead to 47, held the entire Titans offense to under 100 yards. Cordell Patterson, one of the most electric players of the year, held him to 18 yards, held Joe Mixon to 58 yards, and held Dalvin Cook to 39 yards. Just a great rush defense from the San Francisco 49ers we're seeing emerge here. And Ezekiel Elliott has only passed the 50 yards marks once in the last 8 games, and that was 52 yards against the Giants in Week 15. If we get Zeke props anywhere around the 50 yards rushing, I'm going to be hitting the under on those. We're going to see Tony Pollard back in this game, and that will take touches away, as well as Corey Clement has kind of, really stepped up a role in this backfield as well. Zeke's not the same guy he was before, and I believe this is going to be a good look to attack from a player prop. That's going to be the look on that game for player props. As far as the total goes, like I said, these are the top 2 scoring teams in yards per play and points per play. 50.5. If this is 24-27, we hit that over, we cover. I think the over hits in this game. It's one of my favorite plays of the week, and I do like the San Francisco 49ers getting 3 points on the road here. Something that's keeping me off of it so far, though, a majority of the cash and tickets are all on the 49ers. However, they're not moving this line. They're not giving us the 3 and a hook. They're keeping it at 3. Similar to the total. Majority of the cash and tickets on the total. I do agree with that. I already gave you my side. I already gave you my total. I gave you my player prop. For the side here, I would take the 3 with the 49ers. If this gets to a 3.5, I'm going to be very confident, and you probably want to play a little bit on the money line here for the San Francisco 49ers. Some other props you might want to think about attacking. With Michael Gallup out for this game, Cedric Wilson will jump right into that slot role Gallup has. Now you're going to have Cooper and Lamb on the outside garnering a lot of attention, and Dallas should be able to move the ball here as the San Francisco 49ers cornerbacks have struggled since the last back half of the year, giving up a lot of yards through the air. Cedric Wilson, we might be able to get a soft number on. Something I want to advise you to stay away from. Also, we have been cashing on Dalton Schultz over props. The San Francisco 49ers are one of the best defenses in the league at tight end, so we want to stay off that. And we have the emergence of Blake Jarwin now coming back into the offense, which could take some targets away from Schultz. A couple little, seeds for your brain there on that one. So that's the looks in this one. Ezekiel Elliott under rushing yards, 49ers end the points, and over 50.5. Let's get down to the Monday night game and last game of Super Wildcard Weekend. Before that Monday nighter, we got Sunday Night Football as we have the Pittsburgh Steelers getting 12.5 points on the road as they travel to Arrowhead Stadium to play the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, these teams met 3 weeks ago. Kansas City mollywopped them. They beat them 36-10, and they were up 25-0 at halftime. They did not have Travis Kelce in that game as he was on the COVID list. And Tyreek Hill only had 2 receptions, and they still beat the shit out of him. This is a big number, 12.5. This is playoff football. However, the Pittsburgh Steelers, what do they have left? I mean, we talked about it with the Raiders, but even so much more here with Pittsburgh. You got to think they left everything out on the field in that Cleveland Browns game, Big Ben's last home game where they get that win. Then they go on the road, their division rival, Big Ben, to win as the final season, regular season game against the Baltimore Ravens. And then what do you know? Somehow they end up in the playoffs, and now they got to go to Kansas City and play a team that just waxed them 3 weeks ago. This is not a good matchup for Pittsburgh. Now, game script. How does Pittsburgh stay in this game? How do they cover this spread? Well, you're going to need defensive touchdowns, defensive turnovers, maybe special teams, punt blocks. Big plays on defense and special teams is how Pittsburgh can cover this number. Strip, sack, fumble, batted passes at the line, interceptions. Stuff that we saw happen in the first 6 weeks against Kansas City. Players tip passes, players dropping balls, interceptions, things like that. I feel is the only way we're going to see Pittsburgh cover this number. The first half spread is Kansas City -7. I know those first half spreads are scary, but this might be a look here. Like I said, they were up 25-0 without the best tight end in the league and Travis Kelce 3 weeks ago, and Tyreek Hill only had 2 receptions the entire game. It still didn't matter. They went up and down the field on this team. As far as a player prop, I'm going to be looking at Big Ben Roethlisberger's over passing attempts. I don't feel like they're going to be running the ball. I feel like they're going to be playing catch-up the entire time, and I think Ben's going to be slinging it. His player props will probably be in, the 34, 35 passing attempts, so we're going to go over on that. As far as a side for this game, I'm going to lay the points with Kansas City. Maybe that first half would be a better look at the -7. That's probably a better spot. But if Pittsburgh's going to stay in this game, I feel like it would be those defensive plays early when the energy's there and they're playing at their best. The total in this game is low at only 46 points. I don't really have a good look on the total in this game, so I'll give you a best bet. Best bet will be Kansas City team total over 29.5 points. Kansas City has gone over this 29.5 total in 4 of their last 5 games. The only game they didn't was last week against the Broncos, and they had 28 points. Best bet, Kansas City over 29.5 points. Player prop, Big Ben over passing attempts. And let's get on to Monday Night Football. Last game on Super Wildcard Weekend is the Monday Nighter as we have another divisional matchup with the Arizona Cardinals catching points on the road at SoFi Stadium against the Los Angeles Rams. Now, this line opened up with Arizona getting 5.5 points, immediately bet down, money flooding in on Arizona. The Rams are down as low as -3.5 point favorites. Now, a couple interesting coaching notes in this game. Similar to how Kyle Shanahan of the 49ers seems to have Sean McVay's number, that's the exact same case in this matchup, as Sean McVay seems to have the Arizona Cardinals head coach Cliff Kingsbury's number. Since joining the Rams in 2017, Sean McVay has gone 9-1 against the Cardinals and 5-1 against Cliff Kingsbury. Seems to have his number. Coaching styles, not really sure, but it's similar in the division as the 49ers seem to have the Rams number. As we get into this game, the Arizona Cardinals defeated the Los Angeles Rams in their first matchup of the year, with the Rams winning the most recent matchup. Very interesting here. We want to know the injury concerns on the Arizona Cardinals, as James Conner is nursing a heel injury and Chase Edmonds is nursing a rib injury. It's very important because that's how Arizona won that first game this year. Chase Edmonds had over 120 yards on the ground. James Conner had 2 touchdowns with 60. They put up nearly 200 yards on the ground. Kyler didn't have to do as much. Is that going to be the case in this game? We're going to have to track and see where these guys are. I assume they will both play. This is a huge game. They need to win and continue this. This is a third year for Kingsbury and Kyler. If they get booted at the first round of the playoffs, it's not going to be a good look moving forward. As far as player props for this game, I'm going to be looking at Kyler Murray's over rushing. Kyler Murray's 2 of 5 highest rushing games this year came against the LA Rams, where he had 39 and 61 yards. His props are probably going to be in the 30s, and we're going to take the over on that. With no DeAndre Hopkins, we're also going to be looking at the Zach Ertz props. In the last 4 weeks, Zach Ertz has had 13, 11, 9, and 10 targets. He's very sure-handed. We're going to be looking at the Zach Ertz reception props. The Los Angeles Rams do a good job of limiting tight ends' yardage this year when I was going through my research, so we'll take the yards with the targets. We'll take the receptions with the targets and Kyler over. Really interesting matchup. Those are the player props I'm going to look at. As far as the side in this game, if this gets down to 3, that'll be great. I don't see it getting that way. There's so much pressure on Matthew Stafford to win this game. No playoff wins in his career. The pick sixes now he's had in multiple games and just the interceptions really falling off since that first great half of the year when he was an MVP candidate. A lot of pressure here. I believe that the Rams are going to go out here, get this thing done. A pick against the spread would be the Los Angeles Rams. As far as a total, we're seeing this total drop down a little bit. It's at 49, 48 on some books. If I had to pick on the total, I would take the over. Once again, I see a 27-24 type game here. And I like the Rams. I personally do have some Rams Super Bowl tickets, so I'm hoping they do win at plus 1,000. That's in my pocket. That's here nor there. Do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know to keep making these videos. Drop your favorite play for the week in the comments section. We're a community that's helped everybody win. Drop your favorite. Follow me on Twitter at rburgandy88. It's in the ticker below. DM me, shoot me any questions, any stats, anything like that you need to know about. I'll hit you back. And let's all get paid, guys. The season's getting shorter. Super Wildcard weekend. Then we're on to the divisional round. Then championship games. Then the Super Bowl. And then nothing. A huge gap. We're going to be gambling on UFC, MMA, fucking basketball, and who else? Table tennis. Who the fuck else knows? But that's it. Let's all get paid, guys. I'm Ron Burgandy signing off. Drop your favorite plays in the comments. Oh, my official plays are also in the description of the video. Had a decent year. Went 2-2 last week. I already gave you all my plays. My best bets will be in the description of the video. I'm Ron Burgandy. Thanks, guys.